All right, League of Extraordinary Autism. Welcome to our inaugural podcast. Today, I have fellow league mate Mort, aka Orgasmo, and we're going to do a little draft review and see how bad all of you actually picked. So we'll run through this. Sleeper's got a real nice function here. If you haven't seen, we can click your team, see exactly what happened. We had a little bit of wildness going on with draft pick trades, and this helps sort all that out. Mort, why don't you go ahead and say hello?
Hello, everybody. This is Mort, aka Orgasmo. If you know how to change your team name, let me know. Uh, yeah, not a fan of Orgasmo anymore. I feel like it's ran its course.
Yeah, the thing about that is you can change your team name, right? But I don't know if you're able to actually, because I think that's your account name. I don't know if you're able to change that or not.
Yeah, I think I'm stuck with it.
I'll stick with you there. If anybody knows how to fix that, let me know. Although American Badass ain't bad. It's
No, that's a good one.
homage to Kid Rock, so I'm especially autistic. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump in here. Where we'll start with your team. You had the 101.
Oh,
Run through
back
what you did.
was that 2 years in a row I had it?
This is second year in a row. So by random draw, you had 101 last year in the inaugural season. This year we did reverse pick. You had first pick being last place, and you decided to stick with the 101.
Yep.
So it makes sense.
It's hard to pass that up.
It is hard to pass up. I had did a lot of mocks prior to all of the draft pick and everything, and I was a big fan of being early in the draft this year, but um, figured I wouldn't get there because I had second to last pick, right? So I was hoping to get maybe 10, 11, 12. 9 and 10 were available when I got to Joe, or excuse me, to Kyle, and he took 10. So I was a little salty about that, but I think it worked out. But yeah, I really like number one in particular, and even this top couple three. But so let's jump into it. So in 101, Josh Allen, I think that's a really good pick here, particularly in a super flex league. Quarterbacks, it's hard to do a back-to-back number one overall kind of season, but I mean, by all metrics, Josh Allen, I could see him doing it. Um, you know, any other thoughts of who to take here? I think you and I talked about it. CMC was in the mix there for a
Yeah.
minute. Yeah.
Yeah, I really wanted CMC, but I think that was more going off of when he, won me a championship and the flashes he's shown. Because when he's healthy, who do you take over him? But that's
Yeah.
the thing is he hasn't really been healthy for the past 2-3 years now.
Right. And
And
folks really like to talk about being injury prone, right? Whereas I mean, it's more of like a string of bad coincidences in Christian McCaffrey's sense. Injury prone. When I think injury prone, I think of someone uh, like Mike Evans, for instance, right? He's always dealing with a hamstring. It's always the same thing. Whereas McCaffrey sort of dealt with different things.
I feel like he's had what is it, the high ankle sprain?
Yeah,
He's been
that's
dealing
true.
with that. And when you sprain your ankle, I mean, I imagine you sprained yours. I
Yeah,
sprained mine pretty gnarly at old Toys R Us back in the day. And you're way more prone at spraining that ankle than you were before, and it's
sure,
like a reoccurring injury. So that kind of scared me off, and
sure.
I've been an Allen truther since he came out of college,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
it was
for reference, Mort and I have played in some other leagues together and everything, and he certainly has been an Allen Truther for several years now.
and I mean, he's got the legs. He hasn't really been hurt yet. Fingers crossed he doesn't get hurt this year. But he's got the arm, he's got the legs. They got Diggs. They just added a couple. Who's the other receiver they just added?
Let's see here.
Is it
That
Gage? I don't know their
No,
team
that
too
was
well.
Tampa Bay. Unfortunately, I can't click team here. Sleeper, I don't think. Not on the web app, but uh, I know Gabe Davis, Isaiah McKenzie. They just got, I believe, in the draft as a potential slot guy. But
Yeah, Gabe
they
Davis. He's a good one.
brought in Jamison Crowder as well. So yeah, a lot of good weapons there. I mean, looking at last season, threw for 4,400 yards and added another 760 rushing, 21 touchdowns total. So yeah, I mean, it's Superflex. I don't think you go wrong here. It's a very safe pick,
Right,
but it certainly
right.
makes sense. When everybody's rolling out two, you want to have some of the best. So
Yeah.
then, like you're talking about weapons, pick two. The 212 went with Stefan Diggs to get that stack.
Yeah, so I mean, I normally I would have probably gone somewhere else, but you and me had talked about him, and you even mentioned it during the draft. Like, oh, I threw it out there. That is a big reason why. And it's like we were just talking about how Buffalo's added on a few different weapons for Josh Allen and whatnot, but Diggs is still going to be the guy out there.
Oh
And
yeah,
if anything, he's there's no reason for me to think that he's not going to be the dude
uh,
catching whatever Allen's throwing up.
only 28 years old, so potentially hit his peak, but with Allen there, like you said, last year 163 targets, 103 receptions, just over 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. I don't see why he
Got to
couldn't do
bump
it
that
again.
receptions up, honestly.
Well, without yeah, you get a couple better passes. I mean, and that's really I think you look at Allen getting better, right? Allen's only going to get better. I don't
Yep.
know how many of those were truly uncatchable. I don't have those stats here, but 163 targets. You're if you get anywhere close to that, you're going to be an elite wide receiver every year. So I like that, and you're there on the turn. So you went with your first running back, Aaron Jones. I love
Hmm.
Aaron Jones this year. A lot of similar situation in Green Bay, or not similar situation, but uh, another guy that's going to catch a lot of passes. Right, you have a lot of vacated targets with Devontae Adams going. So good pass catching back. My only worry there for you is maybe sort of the emergence of Dylan. Although I think both of them were very involved last year and both were just fine. I
Yeah,
at
there's a
one
lot of
point,
talk of that.
yeah, at one point even Fredrickson was texting me about it. I think a different league and asked thoughts on drafting both Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. That was maybe a little bit wild, but it could certainly work out.
That's too many eggs in a basket for me. And it's like, if I didn't take Jones there, someone was going to take him that round. I'm
Absolutely,
pretty sure
yeah.
someone was going to take him.
He wouldn't have made it back. Absolutely
No,
not. So I like that pickup though. Pass catching back, good solid RB1. And then he went on at the next turn, Pittman and Zeke. So Pittman, wide receiver one for the Indianapolis Colts. Um, upgrade it at excuse me, quarterback there with Matt Ryan now.
huge upgrade, huge.
Yeah, so when
Like
he
Matt
goes,
Ryan's coming to the tail end of his career, but Carson Wentz, as much as I like Wentz as a person, the dude was just chucking them up. I don't know how many games he cost the
yeah,
Colts last year by just hurling it up
which
and YOLOing it.
not a terrible thing for a wide receiver, but having a little bit more consistency is key. I think Pittman,
Yeah,
coming into year three here, I think that we threw around the idea of keepers and all this and that. Pittman, I would say, is on my short list of guys that I could potentially see going from that round four, round five wide receiver, um, to being a top two rounder. So
definitely.
that's a solid pickup. Zeke, I honestly Zeke at round five at that turn there. I feel like that's one of the steals of the draft. I know a lot of people were low on Zeke, but you know,
Well, it reminds me like so he reminds me a lot of Jones in a way because everyone's hyping up Dylan for Jones,
sure,
like, oh, Dylan's gonna take his carries or this or that. And then with Zeke, everyone's like, well, he's old, which is definitely true. His knees are probably dust at this point, and Pollard is
27, yeah,
probably the back of the future, probably. But let's be real, Zeke is still the main dude. He's
right.
been paid a ton of money.
Oh yeah,
There's no way they're not going to run him into the ground and
right.
then let Pollard take over fresh and healthy. Like
And that's
Pollard's
not even
going to
to
get
say
his touches,
they
but
don't even pick someone else up along in that
right,
time frame, right? But yeah, to your point, the contract speaks for itself. I mean, and people get so worried. He was number six in standard and number seven in PPR last year, and it wasn't pretty, right? It was definitely a little rough at times.
so I
But
googled it. I'm trying to find out what his contract is. when it ends. So
He's got
6
another
years for
year.
90 million. I don't see when it ends.
Yeah, I know it was massive. I remember when that happened, but I don't remember the specific
Okay, it ends
year.
in 2026.
Yeah, so yeah, he's still relatively fresh on that contract. To your point, they're gonna do everything they can to get their money's worth, right?
Oh yeah,
So, so Amon Ross St. Brown. I don't dislike this choice, or I don't dislike this pick. Amon Ra wasn't somebody I was necessarily targeting, but I could see why you would. 119 targets last year, and the Detroit Lions, I think overall are looking up. Um,
definitely. I mean, that was kind of he was there, and I was fresh off of watching Hard Knocks, and
I
was
was
hyped
just gonna
off of.
mention the hard knocks bump, hard
Yep.
knocks bump. So
And I'm like, you know what? I believe in the Lions and what they're doing over there. I wish we had a head coach. I loved Bruce Arians when he was in AZ.
yeah,
I'm not a big fan of Kingsbury. I would love to have Dan Campbell as my coach, and
yeah, yeah.
I think Goff has still got some usage in him. So I think
Sure,
He's going to
Goff
get
is
his catches
serviceable.
and looks.
I think Goff is serviceable. I had him last year on my fantasy team in this league. I wasn't a fan, but he's a little bit more serviceable as a real life quarterback than he is for fantasy.
But I think that they're going into what year two under.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they'll just be better overall.
for
How
sure.
much better? I don't know, but I think they'll be a lot better.
Either way, as your wide receiver three, I think he's fine. He's absolutely fine. Amon Ra. So then you picked up quarterback, your second quarterback, Mac Jones.
Yeah,
Um,
that one's. I'll be honest on that one. So last year, I liked what they
did
were
a,
doing,
did a little
and
bit of
then
a
they brought
panic
in
pick.
Matt Patricia, and Jones has even said that in one of his interviews, he's talked about how there's like a lot of confusion. I can't remember exactly what he was saying, but he's not a big fan of what Patricia's trying to do with their offensive scheme, and
Sure.
so I'm I'm kind of torn. Like I think Belichick's going to get every ounce of athletic ability out of him,
Right.
but what is Patricia going to do to help him? What plays are they going to draw up? And I mean, you saw what Patricia did in Detroit. Absolutely nothing. The dude was a bum, and I don't know. I This was a point when I mean, if you look at the draft, you can see um, before this you had Fields taken, Tua, Lawrence,
Yeah. T Law.
Stafford,
The only guys I look past who you got that I would say are maybe a would be a comparable pick or someone I might take over that at least in the next round or two there. Maybe Matt
Ryan.
Ryan. Yeah. I don't think I'd want Tannehill. Jameis Winston, I think, could be a little bit of a sleeper for where he's going. But yeah, Wentz and you're definitely there's a sort of tier break, and you're right in that area. Mac Jones, I think he's serviceable, right? Um,
Yeah, and I lean towards Matt Ryan as well. So I'm like, well, I could stack Pittman and Ryan with my Diggs Allen,
right.
and then I was like, well, I kind of like what where Jones was heading last year because he had some games where he was, flashing that
Sure.
arm,
But
and yeah,
they're very they're just this kind of a spread offense. They like to run a lot. That's why you've got several good backs on the team, and um,
yeah,
but
I'll
Matt, I
cry
mean
if they
Mac,
have another one of
yeah.
those games where they run it 50 sometimes or whatever.
I hope they do it. I got Ramondre. But when you already have Josh Allen, I don't think it feels that bad. You loaded up on other talent between those picks. So here's where we started. I
This
think
was fun.
the beer started to take hold, and we took advantage of the 5 minute picks and started. We saw Joe and Dan trading picks, so I think you and I hopped on that. But you ended up getting my couple of my picks, and so here it's 7-9. You took Ertz. You and I were talking about this a little bit before. I'm not a huge fan on Ertz. I ended up taking one of the early guys, but that top 3 4 guys personally, it's either one of them or I'm down way down here in the one of the last 2 rounds. So Ertz, I could say what a little bit of a homer pick for you, Arizona. There's also the first 6 games with Hopkins out. There's certainly some targets open up for him, but I think I just saw news pop up today that he's
Day
questionable
to
for Week
day.
One. Yeah, day to day.
He's day to day. Yep. And
So
yeah, a little bit of a homer pick, but if you look at his stats over the past, I think like 2, 3 years are
it,
pretty bonkers. But
he's been one of those guys that's been pretty good. Yeah, he was number 5 last year in PPR. Um,
yeah,
so
but that day to day is going to be interesting. It's a calf injury. Those, I mean, I'm dealing with that plantar fasciitis
the
stuff. Like
thing
calf injuries are just brutal.
is that really a guy you're going to want to hold on to through injury? You know,
I don't know. I'm looking. I mean, not to jump ahead, but I'm looking down at Everett, and I dropped him for I
yeah,
forget who I picked up in place of him. It was when Devontae got hurt for Pittsburgh. I
yeah.
picked up.
I'm sure Everett's still out there if you wanted him
I'm sure
back.
he is. If I, you're right. But no, I agree. It's like picked him up. But how good is he going to be when he
Yeah,
does play? And what's his role going to be? Is he just going to block? Is he going to actually be involved in play calling and all that stuff? So
right.
I don't know. It's
Well,
be
we'll
one to
see.
watch.
We will see.
The
Your next pick,
dreaded
Sanders.
Sanders.
I absolutely hate that pick. I think this is
The
like the worst pick of the draft.
the longer it's like as time has gone on since this draft, I have kind of regretted this pick
Yeah,
because you keep
it's
seeing
not,
in the sleeper pop-ups,
yeah,
hey, so and so picked up or the Eagles signed this guy.
right.
You know, they're picking up dudes all left and right, and I'm like, well,
I mean, you saw people were mad. Like the fans were mad last year. Yeah, the couple times, every time it got to a point, I remember watching some Eagles games where anytime they would actually let Sanders run the ball, the crowd would cheer because they were so fed up with Sanders not getting any play. I mean, to the point where he was number 44 running back last year. Now,
to be fair, Eagles
I
fans
hope
fear injuries.
he has dealt with injuries. I hope he has a bounce back here. He's another Penn State guy, so I'm a fan. But man, I am almost certain last season he ended up getting dropped and nobody picked him up. So
I think so. I mean, there's a couple dudes last year that kept getting picked up and dropped, and I think
yeah,
eventually everyone's just like, I'm done with Sanders.
right.
I'm not gonna bother.
So we'll see. Um, but that one could hurt, particularly when you look at who went right after. Because I'm high on Chase this year, but we'll see.
Okay.
Robert Woods, he's I think he's dealing. Well, he's coming off an ACL here, right? He tore his ACL last
Mhm.
season. But if I mean he can return to form at all, he's he even says right here, unquestioned number 1 wide receiver for the Titans. So Tannehill, I think he's completely serviceable, and if Robert Woods could stay healthy, that's not bad value in the 11th round.
Right, that's a big if on staying healthy. And
Yeah,
what's Tannehill gonna do? Because I mean, I like Tannehill in not not so much last year, but the year prior, year before that, probably.
yeah,
Um, he showed that hey, he still got it. But this past year, he didn't look like him for himself. Maybe it's just an off year, but
sure.
it'll be interesting to see, how he does.
Well, that offense just runs so much through Derrick Henry too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Um, Jamal Williams, I know you're watching. I know you're watching Hard Knocks. I think he's fine. He's fine. I
His
mean, it's
speech got me.
late round guy. He's fine. And if Swift goes down at all, I mean, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
and
he'll be the guy.
it wasn't like when I was in that spot, I think that's one of the picks that people were like, "Oh, what are you thinking? What are you thinking?" And it's like,
Yeah,
I'm thinking this. Then everyone's like, "No, man, Williams." But yeah, I mean,
everything at this point's a dart throw.
yeah,
I like that pick more than James Robinson, and I love James Robinson, but not this year. Uh, so then your third quarterback, Baker Mayfield. We'll
this
see.
was a great pick, and I'm going to explain why.
Okay.
This was I believe, because I mean, if you close that out, let's see who was picked up after that. You've got Davis Mills, who good luck with I think you picked Mills, right?
I did, but I then dropped him.
Okay. So Mariota, which have fun with that. Daniel Jones. Eh. I think this was so I needed another QB, but Joe needed an actual QB because at that point he had none.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
He
so
went.
that was a real big cock block move on him. Like, let's make sure he can't get that easy QB. And Mayfield, in my opinion, was
Yeah,
the he got Zach Wilson
he did get Derek Carr earlier in round 4. But yeah, he ended up getting Wilson because Field and Mills went with your
and
pick and
Wilson
my
got
pick.
hurt. I don't know if he's playing week 1 or whatever, but
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah. I think yeah, it might be Flacco, right?
but yeah, I like at this point I think I
No,
like
I
Mayfield
get it.
more than I like Jones,
I'm with
but
you. I
that's
mean,
something to watch as the season plays out.
ultimately, in a super flex, and it's in my opinion, you want to leave the draft with 3 quarterbacks, and at that point, I don't think there's anything wrong with Mayfield. The last 2 picks, Everett, potential there for on the Chargers, just a high-powered offense, and then you went for their defense as well.
I think
So
their defense is going to be good, man. You got what is it? Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack. I don't know their defense in and out, but they've been pretty decent.
yeah,
So
no, I
I
mean,
I
I don't typically hold on to a defense the whole time. I mean, I don't know what their first couple games looks like. They got Vegas, Kansas City, Jacks. Uh, Vegas of those 3 is the one that worries me the most. Who knows what Kansas City is going to look like this year? And then Jacks get fucked. We're gonna own them. But
Lawrence gonna have
on
a
paper,
coming of
everybody's gonna
ages game.
yeah.
8
On paper,
TDs,
everybody's gonna tell you it's great. So
right?
what did we say? I know we kind of started this after the immediate draft. What did we say? Like B plus?
I remember a B minus. There
Yeah,
were some people were
there's
like, I
somewhere.
think Joe was like, oh, it's an A, and you're like, no, it's more like a
No,
C plus. And
I'm
then the
gonna
average
we'll
was like a
split.
B
Yeah,
minus.
we'll split the difference. I think we're going B minus. And my big reasoning why is really because you picked up Sanders and Ertz. I really don't like those 2 middle round picks.
I 100% agree with Sanders. I like. I
I know
think
you like
Ertz.
Ertz.
He's such a crapshoot. Just again injuries. It's
Yeah. Well,
with Miles.
we just spent 23 minutes on your draft more, and we got
All
11
right,
teams to go. So these
all
other
right. Let's
ones,
move on.
because you're on the cast with me, we do yours a little more in depth. But these next ones, I think, we'll kind of fly through a little bit faster because I don't have anybody to make fun of. Unless we see a really bad pick, then we can make fun of them together. So this
I like
one
that.
was formerly Courtney Spot, who is a quitter. Um, so thankfully, Joe had a backup for us with Marshall. Marshall, welcome to the league. So number 2 overall, and he started with Jonathan Taylor. I was curious how quickly Jonathan Taylor was going to go. I figured it would be top 3, and it was right there at 102.
Mhm.
Opting out of going one of these elite quarterbacks right off the bat, but obviously not a whole lot to say with Jonathan Taylor. He was, you know, number 1 overall last year, considered very likely
Yeah,
to do it again.
especially with. I mean, yeah, we just talked about how Matt Ryan's an upgrade at quarterback, and Pittman and whatnot. I still think Taylor's going to be leading that offense.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's just a matter of does he end up number 1 again? If someone like Christian McCaffrey, if a Derrick Henry, or even potentially an Eckler just stays healthy the whole time, and there's other competitors
Or
there, but
even
he has
Miles
the
Sanders.
even Miles Sanders, but the youth there, him being the focal
Yeah.
point, that really helps it out. So round 2, he did go Dak Prescott. I did not know this about Marshall, but I found out very quickly during the draft. He is a Cowboys homer. Um,
Yep.
he came in. He had his like knockoff Packy Cowboys jersey on, or something he got when he was deployed. So that I say that, but it was like a nice custom jersey. It was pretty cool. The Prescott, I like it. Um, Lamb, though, Lamb makes me a little bit more nervous. There's obviously a lot of hope for him. I like the stack, um, but it's one of those situations where okay, he's the number one. He's the number one, but he finished 19 last year in PPR, so he hasn't done it. Year 3, he hasn't shown to be an elite guy. So there's a lot of hope there, right?
Yeah. I mean, Prescott,
He likes to spread
I
the ball
I'm
around.
a exactly, and I hate the Cowboys for no reason other than
Well, everybody hates the
it's a cool
Cowboys
thing
unless
to
you're a
do.
Cowboys fan,
I
right?
do love their owner. Jerry Jones is probably the best owner in football. But yeah, if someone's gonna make Lamb work, it's gonna be Prescott, and it's up to Lamb at this point if he can actually haul them
Right.
balls in.
Yeah. I mean,
Like I as much as I hate to admit it, Prescott is. I
I
see
think
why they replaced Romo with him. He's
sure.
good.
The one thing I would like to see, or I think really what he needs is this number of targets. So last season, 120 targets. We look at your guy Diggs at 163. So you bump those numbers up by another 20, 30 plus targets. I think he has the opportunity to become elite. It's just a matter of we need to see it. Uh,
Best pick of the draft,
yeah,
Gibson.
best pick of the draft.
Bruh.
Antonio Gibson, man, that's been a roller coaster. I was waiting for somebody to pick him during the draft, and of course, there's the new guy in our league, and want to give him a hard time without being too much of a dick right off the bat. But it was funny to me. And then what? We get literally within hours of each other, we all get that notification on Sleeper that Brian Robinson's looking to be the guy, and then he got shot. Um, so I mean, did Gibson shoot him or have him shot? I don't know, man, but it's a real strange coincidence how quickly that news came after one another, right? Um,
Unsolved mysteries right there, baby.
I mean, he was top 12 guy last year in PPR,
But he
but it's
fell
the fumbles.
hard though, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the fumbling, and he's like constantly in the doghouse. Can't fumble his running back. So I don't know. Maybe I'll be eating my hat at the end of the season. I just don't think Antonio Gibson's it. I think he's like the quintessential dead zone running back that people were talking about this season, and I wanted nothing to do with it. So I'm glad he took him. DK Metcalf, presumably still the number one guy with Geno Smith, right?
Yeah, hamburger helper out there throwing them balls, and it's like, it, yeah, Metcalf is good. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
No
with you there.
confidence in who his quarterback is.
I mean, I just look at some of the guys that went after him that I know I was personally targeting. Like I looked Sutton going later. I would have loved to have Sutton. I ended up taking Pitts, but I would take him over. I mean, I would even Terry McLaurin. I would potentially take over Metcalf with having him out there with Carson Wentz, DJ Moore with Baker. Even I don't know. Metcalf makes me nervous, but another one. He's just real potential boomer bust guy. Maybe Gino as a starter, he can figure it out because that he is the starter now. Yeah, is that confirmed, Gino?
Yeah, somehow. like,
But they
like,
traded for Drew Lock and had a
yeah,
competition.
Locke just looked bad.
Well, he's always kind of looked bad, but I guess at least he's a backup with experience. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Metcalf,
I mean, I'm an Arizona fan, right? So any Seattle Seahawks suffering, I'm
sure.
there for it. But fantasy wise, it's like, oh man, sorry, dude. Like, hopefully DK get some looks and
But
Gino's actually serviceable.
yeah. So Schultz, that was one of the kind of mid round guys that or he on my list was really the last tight end that I would have felt taking with any sort of confidence early in the draft. So we had Kelsey, Andrews, Pitts, Kittle, Waller, and then Schultz. Schultz
Mm.
going right next to Waller is a little wild to me. I figured he would have been a seven, maybe even eighth round guy.
Schultz or Waller?
Schultz.
Okay.
I'm just surprised he went right after Waller. But again, I'm gonna call a homer pick on this one, and he already had the Prescott Lamb stack. Now you also have Dalton Schultz.
It's a lot of eggs in one basket
It's a
there.
lot of eggs in one basket. Could it work out? Sure. We were talking earlier. Prescott likes to spread it around, so Schultz could
Mm-hmm.
get his, and Lamb could get his. Makes me nervous though to have to roll him out, and I know I made some mistakes like that during my draft. That if I could do it over, I wouldn't have done. But Good pick in the vacuum. I don't like it so much with the triple Cowboys stack. Next one, Amari Cooper. I'm calling Homer on that, even though he switched teams. Um, I don't know. Amari's interesting. He had a real bad
Yeah,
last season was pretty bad. Wide receiver 27.
I'll never forgive him. I needed him to come up big in one of had him in one of my leagues like 4 years ago, or whatever.
Yeah,
He did not perform well, and I lost by like 12 points. Like all I needed him to do was his job,
yeah,
so I'll never forgive him for that.
I
But
hear you.
it seems like it's just been downhill though.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
he was good, and then it just kind of sloped downwards.
for sure. Wentz, he's got the Gibson stack. I wouldn't take Wentz, but okay.
No,
Uh,
especially when I mean, there's not much left on the field,
no,
but
I mean Gibson
uh,
catches some passes, right? Yeah,
well, he will now that he shot a
yeah,
dude.
he had 42 receptions last year. So I mean, having that kind of stack is kind of nice, even though they're both picks I don't like. You get three receiving touchdowns too, so you get those. Those are nice. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Um, this is another one, man. I don't, Marsh, man. I don't want to dump on you too much here, but what the hell?
Trial by fire, dump on him.
Fucking a. I mean, he's in the military, brother. I don't need to get shot. I already got Joe watching me from across the street.
That's true. He's probably listening to this right now. He's
Yeah.
in his head. He's like, "Why would you say this? It's a
Why'd you
great
say
pick.
this?
Here's
Yeah.
18 minutes why this is actually the best pick of the draft."
Another guy who he lost a couple fumbles last year. Everybody was real excited about him year one, but coming into year three, they're picking up some other backs. I don't know. Maybe he's a value in the ninth round, but another one I probably would have stayed away
I'm
from.
so iffy on Kansas City running backs.
Yeah, it just
They
hasn't been
either
a
feast or
reliable thing.
famine.
It hasn't been a reliable thing. It's a very
Yeah,
passing heavy team, right? Which makes sense. You got Patrick Mahomes.
right.
Traylon Burks, rookie out of Arkansas. I mean, they got to throw it to someone.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that dude.
Yeah, he's just a rookie. I mean, he's interesting. There's a little hype around him. Madison, I like. I mean, Cooks is always gonna to miss. He's always misses a couple games, right? So you have a plug and play
Well,
guy.
yeah, but they've talked about trading
He
him
could,
too,
but
though.
yeah, that was the other point.
So that
I
might
mean, if
be a
he gets
huge
traded
one.
somewhere, that could be really big. If he gets traded
Yeah,
somewhere and takes a lead role, I mean, we
it's a
know he
big
can
what
get it done.
if, but it's still
We know he can
a
get
lot
it
of
done.
potential. Yeah.
Rondell Moore, another Arizona wide receiver. I like him. I think for 12th round pick, not bad. He's gonna get some target share there. I've
Yeah,
heard
again,
some
with
some
Ertz
high.
hurt, potentially out week 1, no
Yeah,
Hopkins.
no Hopkins. They got to go
You got
somewhere.
what? Yeah.
He's his second year. Who knows? Second year jump is a thing. So uh, Tyler Algier, whatever. It's Cordero's
Yeah.
show. I think
When you said Algier, I thought it was Algier.
maybe it is.
I don't know.
It could be.
But he got 2 TDs to bolster the
There you
case
go.
for an early roll,
There you go.
per
There you go.
latest news.
Packers defense, neat. I don't really want to talk about defenses.
Yeah, I no, but I don't know if I would have went Packers though. I
No, not
mean,
with the unknowns with their offense. I agree.
yeah, they might be on the field a lot, might get burned for it.
So I'm thinking like what did we? I don't know what we said before. If you were still on the call or not.
I was on
I'm
the call
thinking.
when you were Gonzo.
Uh, I'm thinking like I don't know C plus on that. What do you think?
Yeah, he was one of the lower ones. If I remember,
I
it
mean,
was
Jonathan
like
Taylor is a big boost, but I'm thinking, I like the Prescott Lamb, but Lamb's unknown. Gibson, Metcalf,
right,
Amari,
like Jonathan
Wentz,
Taylor.
CEH.
Hard to miss on that, but just kind of
So many mid-round picks that I feel like were a miss.
yeah. I would
I'm
say C
I'm good.
plus.
C
I
plus.
think that was the someone wrote it down. I think you might have done it on
I
paper or
did. I
something.
threw it away though.
That
I
makes
was
sense. It
cleaning it up.
sucks. I almost hit enter in the chat. because I
Yeah.
was writing it down.
Oh well, that's okay. We have less input on this one too. This is just based on you and I. So,
Yeah,
all right, Dan here, Justin Herbert, love it. I mean, he's going to be great.
yeah,
Um,
he kind of came out of nowhere when
yeah,
Homeboy got his lung punctured. He just started lighting up the scene.
Dalvin Cook and Chubb back to back. I mean, Dalvin Cook's good. He's going to miss a couple games, but I mean, what he came out with that shoulder brace last season and tore it up.
Yeah, he was better.
Chubb,
It was weird.
Chubb, I think, particularly with Deshaun Watson's suspension, he's probably going to be the focus of this offense in a lot of ways.
Yeah. So let me. What do you think about this though? So yeah, he's going to be the main guy. He's going to be the focus, and he's going to get his his touches. But who's their backup?
Hunt, Kareem Hunt, but he wants to be traded
Or
as
sorry,
well.
who's their quarterback?
Oh shit, who is it behind Deshaun?
It used to be Keenum, but I don't know who's behind. It's Jacoby Brissett, I think.
Yeah. Jacoby Brisket.
So
He's fine.
when he was with the Colts, that dude he couldn't hit nothing. I mean, he had some flashes, sure,
Yeah,
but he was overthrowing dudes like crazy.
sure.
And my thought is Chubb's going to be the dude. They're going to whatever defense is out there, they're just going to stuff that line, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it'll
for
be
sure.
interesting to see how Chubb he produces. I don't
Yeah,
think he's going to be that good until
I
shoot,
almost
I don't know.
at least I off of ADP, I feel a lot better about taking like a Kareem Hunt, but Dan's the resident Browns homer, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing how wrong we are, or at
Yeah.
least I am.
Chubb will come out week one, have a good game, and then they'll figure it. Defenses will figure it out.
Pretty much, it's all about adjustments.
But Waddle's not a bad pick. I think he's finally practicing again. He was number 13 last year, 140 targets. With Tyreek Hill coming in, I think his share drops a little bit. Obviously, right? Tyreek Hill demands
Oh,
targets,
definitely.
but
Yeah.
but for a fifth round guy, I don't think that's bad.
No, I think it's a good
So
one.
this is when him and Joe started getting wild with all these trades and everything on the picks. But he went back to back. Terry McLaurin, Deontay Johnson, Scary Terry. I mean, for the same, we've been down on Wentz, right? Maybe he could
Hmm.
have a good season. I don't know. We'll see. I was really excited for him last season with Fitzpatrick, but then Fitzpatrick's career got ended. So
Yeah.
um, Deontay Johnson, I think, is a little more interesting. I mean, last season he just had so many targets from Ben. Big Ben. He had the quickest average time of throwing the ball, so just dump off the Deontay and go with it, make a play. Um, Last I heard, I think Trubisky is he's listed as number one now on the depth chart.
Yeah, and I think Troops is going to be pretty good. I think
Yeah,
Deontay's.
you
I think
think
he'll still get his targets.
you think he finishes top 12 again or top 10 even? I don't know if he.
Um,
I think he regresses a bit, but I think that's also reflecting his ADP that he's in the sixth round now.
but I think he regresses a bit. But how much? I mean, like you said, Big Ben. Big Ben was in that offense for how long? He knew pretty
Right.
much everything.
Well, it's
Uh,
just the idea of him dumping it off so much last season, which I think
yeah, I could see
he's just
Troops
not
doing
gonna.
that a bunch. So
Perhaps
I don't know. I don't know on that one actually.
those are
Maybe.
two. Those are two kind of wild card picks. They certainly have high ceilings, both of them.
Yeah,
But I don't
definitely.
know.
Especially Johnson over McLaurin, I'd say.
Yeah.
But
Darren Waller. Did he just get a new contract or no? He was sort of sitting out camp, right?
I think he did. I don't remember. I thought he was hurt or something, or he was
I
using
think it was
injury as a
undisclosed.
reason to
Yeah,
sit
it
out.
was. Yeah, but then it was literally news that he got a new agent or something. It was weird.
Yeah, I
Waller, I
think.
don't know.
Let's
I
see.
I don't think he's going to be a top three tight end this year. I don't think he's one of the top three. What was he last year? Last year he was 17, but I think he was injured last year, right? He missed games. Yeah,
Okay,
he
so he
missed.
got a new contract.
Okay, he did. I mean, he came out like the gangbusters week 1.
Oh no, sorry, he didn't get one. He signed with new agents in search of one. I
Right,
misread it. Sorry.
right. So that was the last I heard. I don't know if he got it, but I don't know. He came out like gangbusters last year with like a 27-point performance, and then it was downhill from there. Got injured. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
think I traded for him, and because the idea was,
Yeah,
hey, he's a solid tight end,
that was
but he
part of that
just,
massive trade.
yeah, he just didn't produce. Just
So,
fell off a cliff. But I think he was injured and whatnot too. So
yeah, I don't know. Interesting for what he was last year as far as his draft capital last year. It's certainly a discount. I was staying away from this year, but he could pan out. I don't know. Devontae Adams there now. You've got whole 4 different running backs who are probably all going to be involved.
yeah.
Who knows what his target share looks like, but potentially still a top tight end. Matt Ryan, we talked about. I think he's fine as a quarterback too.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
That Hopkins pick seems
Hopkins,
too early.
yeah, yeah. I think in a super flex it was certainly early. Um, he probably would have waited till 10 or 11. I don't know what the board looked like exactly or where he was ranked on sleeper, but
I
he's got
mean,
3 guys that are serviceable. What, he has to wait 6 weeks. I don't hate the pick.
I don't either, but it's like when he comes back, how much of a factor is he going to
Yeah,
be?
does
And
somebody else take over that lead role? I mean, he's only getting older, 30 years
he's
old.
definitely going to, yeah, he's been 9 years now. I mean, he's only 30. That's not terrible.
No, I mean, somebody was going to take him, right? And he could be one of those guys that second half of the season he's just killing it for you. But I wasn't going to be the guy picking him up. Put it that way.
Yeah,
Dan
I was
Dan
looking for
Dan
him late.
loves Dan loves suspended guys because his very next pick then
Apparently,
was Deshaun Watson. And I believe at the time, I believe when we already knew he had 11 games at that point, right? When we drafted him,
um,
we knew it was at least going to be 6. I
yeah, we
think I
knew it was going to
think the
be
news of
six.
11 was out. But here's the thing: Dan put himself in a situation here where he's gonna have to wait till what is it, week 12, 12 or 13, because it's like right they have a buy in there as well.
And they come
To
back and play
play
the
to play his
Texans.
guy. Yeah, when they come back. Wow, what a strange coincidence. Um,
Who could have pictured this?
I just don't know. I mean, at least with Matt Ryan, that bye week is until week 14, but he's going to be in a week here, week 8, where Herbert's out. He's got Matt Ryan, and then who?
Someone's going to have to get dropped.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He'll pick up somebody, but um, I don't know. Deshaun Watson, he could be a league winner potentially. I could see it. It's
I
just
don't know, man.
you're
He's been out of
going
football for so long.
highest paid quarterback in the league.
Yeah, but it's if I was gonna say, oh, this guy's been out of football for so long, but I'll take him, it'd be like Terrell Owens. His
Sure.
homeboy's still running a 4.5
Sure.
40.
I'm just saying, I don't know. It could work out, but this is going to be a roster clog for
Oh
12,
yeah.
13 weeks. 12, 13 weeks is going to be a roster clog. He's going to need to drop somebody else already to pick up a second quarterback, unless he just wants to roll without a second quarterback in the super flex. But who knows?
Yeah,
Who
but
knows?
it's so tough.
It is tough.
That is tough.
I mean, he's got
Not
some
much
guys
more to say
here
about that
I
one.
already look and I consider droppable. I mean, Christian Watson, rookie for the Packers. Aaron Rodgers don't throw the rookies. I don't know. I imagine he's going to get dropped real quick. Jacoby Myers,
I had high
um,
hopes for that dude, man, for a couple years in a row, and he
yeah,
just,
he finally got a touchdown.
yeah.
2 of them. I think he gets dropped. Fryermuth, that could be a good pickup. I don't know if he still has him on his team or not. I like Fryermuth, but we'll see. And Cowboys defense.
Cowboys
So,
D, I like. I mean, you don't want to talk about defense, but I think Cowboys D's pretty
well, yeah,
good. They
because we're
showed
at
last year they
45
were pretty
minutes
damn
already.
good. All right, next one. Let's roll. Keep it rolling,
uh,
baby.
Great on him. Do you like his team better or
Um,
worse than Marshall's? I guess is the question.
mm, not really, but
I
at
think
the
it's
same,
about
just a
the
little
same.
bit. Yeah, the only thing I would like more about Make
I think
brownie
I'll also
pants.
put him at C plus. I like it probably about the same.
I like the running back situation more than I like Marshall's. But yeah, I'd say probably about the same.
Chubb and Cook versus Taylor and Gibson.
Yeah, I mean, as much
The
as
only thing, you
I
know
don't
what?
know about Chubb,
I'm downgrading Dan to just a straight C, and here's why. He doesn't have any running back depth. He has Cook and Chubb, and then nobody,
I didn't even notice that.
literally nobody. So I'm
Woo.
downgrading to a C.
All right.
All right, Ben. Ben will skim through Ben because Ben's probably not even going to listen to this. Mahomes, Adams, Andrews, Cousins, Akers, Judy, Dillon, Pollard, Smith, Goff, Mariota, Komet. Highlights here: Mahomes and Cousins is a good duo. Having Goff and
Goff,
Mariota in the
Mariota.
back. I mean, I drafted 4. He'll probably drop 1.
His running backs are
I hate his running
iffy.
backs.
Yeah.
Akers, Dillon to me is his top running back. Akers, I don't trust at all. Not with the
He's
Achilles.
like the good value version of my team.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. Good quarterbacks. Devontae Adams, I think, is gonna be solid. Mark Andrews should be solid, but running back situation's dog shit.
Yep.
Jerry Judy, I think, will be fine, but then he has Julio and Devonta Smith. Eh,
Bills D.
what a reach. I mean, somebody was
Yeah,
gonna do it first. I don't give a shit about the D. Cole Komet is fine,
that
but you
dude
already
wasn't
got.
anything last year.
Yeah, I think he'll get more only because there's not a lot to throw to. But he already has Andrews. It's not like you're never gonna. There's 1 week you're gonna play Komet over Andrews. That's when Andrews is on bye.
I do. That's Julio Jones at the bottom, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
could be
If
interesting.
anything, I
He's a
like
dart
that as
throw.
a reach. Yeah. But
Um,
even Mahomes, like I mean, look at Courtney's teams.
yeah,
Mahomes shit the bed last year for a long
and he
time.
doesn't have Tyreek anymore, and he has a
Yeah.
33-year-old Kelsey.
Yep. So
C
yeah,
minus.
I'm not. Yeah,
C minus. I
I'm
don't
I'm
like
on
it.
board.
This running back situation's dog shit. All right, Adam, Lamar Jackson and Stafford. Stafford is okay.
That elbow's scary, but
It's scary, and he's
we'll
also
see.
just very efficient because he was for number 5. It's not bad. I don't know. But Lamar obviously, I like him at 1.5 in his
But
super
here's the
flex.
thing: is Lamar gonna actually play, or is he gonna hold out for a contract?
Who knows?
I mean, Stephen A. Smith said he shouldn't play it down until he gets his contract,
Did
and
he?
I'm
I didn't know
Stephen
that.
A. Smith, and it is the gospel.
Well,
But who
we'll see
knows
what
on that
happens
one?
there. I
Yeah,
mean, if he plays though, obviously top tier. Mixon, I like. Jacobs, I hate that pick. That's like Sanders or Gibson tier, and that's his running
uh,
back too. Chase Edmonds, I think, is a deal in the 9th round.
Jacob's stock went up a little bit when Kenyon Drake was released, but
Yeah, but didn't they bring somebody else in?
sure, I think so.
Yeah, they've got like 3 or 4 guys that they're gonna mix all in. So I don't know. Maybe he's a value at 5. Don't like it though. I was staying away from him. T Higgins is wide receiver 1. I think is solid. Gabriel Davis. So Adams he is a Bills fan. If you couldn't tell, Gabe Davis and Dawson Knox. I don't know. Knox I think should be fine as a tight end. Gabe Davis, he had a couple flashes last season. Probably more involved this year.
Yeah, I think he'll be more involved. But like we were talking with
Like
Diggs.
he could have had. I would probably take Jerry Judy over him.
Yeah,
I probably would have taken your Amon Ra over him, but he should be fine. I just don't like when you have the tight end and the wide receiver like that. That's a little. There's only so many touchdowns to score. Thielen, who knows? He's getting older, man. And what KJ
yeah.
Osborne potentially could take over as that number 2.
There's so many people in this draft that I wanted, but people would pick them sooner than
Yeah,
I
oh yeah, this
thought.
one was wild.
Yeah.
But he should be okay. It's just that's your wide receiver 3. I don't know. That seems like a pretty big drop off even from Gabe Davis to me. MVS could be a good deal. I mean, we don't really know who Patrick Mahomes 1 is going to be. I think MVS and Juju are probably the top two candidates, but who knows? Hunter Henry's his second tight end, whatever. Sammy Watkins, he'll have his first game will be good, and then he'll fall off. And I mean, he drafted Trubisky, which I don't know if he held on to him, but it seems like he actually got the starter pick right. So,
Yeah,
um,
I like Trubisky. I mean, if he actually plays him, I like him.
so yeah,
QB3 there for sure.
I think I like it a little bit more than Ben. I think I like it about the same as Dan, around a C, maybe C plus. What do you think?
Mm,
Just that Jacobs in the middle. I don't know. Stafford's
Jacobs. I
okay.
mean, you like Mixon a lot.
I know we both got burned by Mixon the one year.
I'm trying to put away my personal bias towards a bunch of these players. Um, C plus.
C plus. I'm
I
with you there.
yeah, like you were saying, you got Davis and Knox and then
He's
Jacobs.
got a lot of serviceable guys. I don't know. Fredrickson. Fredrickson. I really liked his draft actually, if I remember correctly. So CMC and Barkley. That's man. I had when I was doing mocks, I was able to get that at the 9, and I was very excited about it. Um,
I'm almost surprised. And I was gonna bring this up whenever we're talking about Taylor, but I bit my tongue. I'm kind of surprised McCaffrey dropped down that far.
yeah.
I
Well,
figured
people
he
are
would have.
nervous on him. People are nervous
Right,
on him
like,
because of injuries, and then super flex on top of it. But yeah,
and people just getting burned by running backs in general.
yeah,
Like, how many
I get
times?
it.
Yeah, so
But if he like we said, if he's healthy, same thing with Barkley.
definitely.
Same thing with Barkley, right? They're both guys. If they can stay healthy this season, that's going to be a tough team to beat.
Yeah, Trey Lance. I think he's going to be a stud.
I
I think
like
he's
Trey
going to
Lance.
be a stud.
I was very surprised he went so early, but I agree with you. Like
Yeah,
and Matt, if you listen this far into it, I don't think Jimmy G getting signed for a year is anything to be worried about. You know, you might have the hometown fans hooting and hollering if Lance loses some games, but it's Lance's team as far as I'm concerned.
yeah. Didn't they even say that they just didn't want
Yeah,
him to go to Seattle?
right. They didn't want to go to Seattle, and he's a great backup. If something happens to Lance, which is certainly a risk with those mobile running quarterbacks,
Jimmy
Jimmy G's
G's won
been to the
his
Super
rings.
Bowl. He's been to
Yeah,
the Super Bowl, man. Like so,
he he's dating playboys. He's got
yeah.
his rings. He's got
I,
his generational
but
wealth.
I'm with
He's
you. I
good.
really like Trey Lance. I was a little surprised he went as early as he did. I was hoping to get him coming back around in the third, but Fredrickson
Yeah.
must have been doing research because that was my plan to have Hurts and Lance, but
Well, I
that's
thought
all right.
he. I mean, I don't think he did, but my thought was he took him so early that he took Lawrence because he's like, you know what? I'm gonna spite Huggy. I'm gonna take him.
Maybe I think he might have just been looking at my mocks or something. Mike Evans, I like. I mean, number one guy for Tom Brady. DJ Moore, he's a little bit riskier, but I mean, he's really good.
He
And now
was
he's
the
got
dude.
Baker. He's got
Yeah, when
Baker, which
McCaffrey was
I
hurt.
think Baker's a slight upgrade for him, so I don't hate that pick. Bateman, I think, is going to be good. Wide receiver one there. Michael Thomas, if he's back, that could be another steal at 8. Kadarius
He's
Tony.
another dude. And I'm
Yeah, go
sorry,
ahead.
I'm focused on we're trying to blow through these, but I feel like Thomas is another dude here. It's like Watson. He's been out of football
Yeah,
for how long?
yeah, like
You
2
come
years
back
ago.
and the NFL speed is so different than
It's true,
you can
but
do preseason, but
if
what's
he's
preseason?
healthy, and he's playing though, I still think he's a guy. excuse me,
How
that
old is he
demands
now?
target share. 29.
Oh, he's still young then.
Yeah, he's not too old for a
Holy
wide
smokes! I
receiver.
thought he was like in his mid
No,
30s.
I think I think he could be great value actually for an 8th round pick. Tight end situation, Hawkinson and Njoku. I think they're both fine. I don't know what I don't think I would have taken both, but
No, I would have went
um,
with Hawkinson and just
me personally, I probably like there because he didn't have a third running back yet. I didn't look at the board here. I probably would have taken either Damian Harris or Ramondre, and then just held out for Njoku later. Personally, but I get it.
yeah.
Cook, I don't want anything to do with the Bills running backs really.
No, it's like it reminds me of the Ravens. You got a QB that runs, and
Yeah.
for the past several years have made it pretty clear they don't
Sometimes they'll
care.
have good games, right? But
Oh yeah, I mean, Mark Ingram had a good game or two with the Ravens
right.
before he was retired off into the sunset.
But I'm not high on Cook. I know some people are. There's some buzz around him,
Nah,
but I would have rather had one of those New England guys to back up McCaffrey and Barkley. Excuse me. Tony Skymore Pickens. So you got two
Ugh.
rookies there. I mean, there's a lot of hype around Sky because who are they going to throw to in KC? Pickens, there's been a lot of hype with him around camp, but I don't
I
even know if
think
he might have dropped him at this point even.
he dropped him, and I believe I picked him up and dropped Everett.
Yeah, but I mean, those guys are interesting. Kadarius Tony. I mean, I've been hearing mixed reports, but there was a lot of hype around him last season because he had a really good game or two. If him and Daniel Jones can get it together, I think he could be great value from the 11th round.
Yeah, big if.
I guess I didn't talk about Lawrence. Obviously, Lawrence is candidate to be top 3 quarterback this season. Um, he's the greatest.
I'm not even going to question it. I'm just going to take your word for it.
Yeah.
I
So,
believe it.
but I like it. I like it. The only thing that worries me, I guess, with his team is lack of a third quarterback option. But I mean, at this point, if you
Nice
leave with
running back
2
option too.
and running
Tons
back
of wide
option,
receivers, but
I like his starters. I think he has a good stable of starters. But when you look at backup, though, yeah, backup running back is a weakness. Um, and third quarterback, but I think he can figure that out. Somebody will emerge. He'll get him off of waivers or something like that. I actually like this team about as much, if not just a little bit more than I like yours. And we had you at B minus. I'm leaning B here, to be honest. What do you think? Yeah, I know you don't want somebody ranked higher than you.
no, I like Evans, and I agree with you completely. McCaffrey and Barkley.
Yeah, that's
I,
nasty.
I,
If they're
there's
healthy, I
not a
don't know.
whole right when you say if, and it's like I feel like there's not a whole lot of if on these two because McCaffrey's had over a year and a half now to
Right, and
recover.
Barkley's had basically. I mean, he missed a lot of last season.
Yeah, and Mike Evans, a stud,
Yeah,
easy. Trey Lance gonna be a stud. More, I mean, he's showed that he can ball out. You know more about Lawrence than I do, and
I mean, it's just a much better situation in Jacksonville, and he has actual weapons to throw to this season. So I like him. I wasn't gonna pay for him. He jumps so high up on the draft board that I wasn't ever gonna pay for him this season. Although I would have loved to have him, but not in the 6th. But he could be a value there. So I'm gonna go with B. I like
I
this
would
draft a
say
lot.
I'd say B plus, man.
B
I
plus.
like the
We'll give him
yeah.
the B plus. That running back duo is nasty.
It really is. I
Um,
overlook the Cook part because you've got
yeah.
McCaffrey and Barkley.
So over to Neil, and Neil will be a quick one because I don't think he's going to listen. But Kyler and Tannehill, I think that's fine. Murray's going to be great, I'm sure. They make him watch film now.
No, we removed it. He doesn't
Oh
have to
yeah,
watch
they
it an
did
hour
get
a
rid of
day.
that. They did get rid of that. Najee's going to be a monster.
Yep.
David Montgomery, I like. I know there's not a lot of good vibes because he's Chicago, but I don't mind him if you're going to go this route of running back and then a couple wide receivers. Rashad Penny, if he stays healthy and he plays, man,
Mm-hmm.
every time he's been great.
He's got a few Seahawks on that team.
I didn't even
Damian
notice.
Harris.
Yeah. Well, Damian Harris is
Hmm.
a Patriot, but I like
Well, I know. I
Damian.
was looking
Oh,
at
okay.
Lockett. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. No, I like Damian Harris though. I think he's fine. James Robinson. I mean, I love the guy. They're saying he's going to play week 1. I don't know, man. I just don't trust the Achilles again. But again, that's his 5th running back. He's stocked up. I think he'll be fine there. Wide receivers. I love Debo Samuel. If you took out Cooper Cup last year, I believe he was Yeah, number two in standard, number three. I mean, he was the monster last year, 1,400
Oh yeah,
yards
because he
on
was doing
only
running back
77
stuff too,
receptions.
wasn't
He
he?
was, yeah, he was rushing as well. He was rushing as well. But I love like Debo Samuel, AJ Brown, a little bit of a more risky pick there, but as your wide receiver too, I don't think you could do much worse
No, I like
or
Brown. I
much
mean,
or
I
much
think
better. I think that's a
with
solid tandem. And then with Brandon Cooks in there, I mean,
hmm I
actually,
like
really,
Cooks
I
too.
I really like his team so far. Tannehill's whatever, but you did got so much talent here in his first 6 rounds. Tannehill, I think you could have him as your two and not worry about it. Lockett and Galladay, they're what Lockett, same reasons we talked about. Um,
Yeah,
DK Metcalf,
Galladay, I've got no faith in. It
Galladay,
seems like
no.
he's
I
just
would these two guys I
done.
could just drop. Higby, I don't mind Higby. I like that he only picked up one tight end with somebody like Higby because there's so many other guys here you could drop and pick someone else. Saints
Yeah,
defense, that's fine. Um, man, I hate to admit it, I actually like Neil's team. I'm feeling solid B on that.
yeah, I'd agree with you on that one, especially Debo, Murray,
Yeah.
Harris, Brown. I like Brown. I think he's gonna be big. I mean, let's be real. Garbage time hurts is the real
Oh
deal,
yeah, for
like he
sure,
was
for sure.
last year. And Brown, I think they just paid him a bunch of money.
Oh yeah, he's the guy over there.
I think Cooks is probably the Texans' number one receiver at this point.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, absolutely. And he's
So
always
I
been
think he did.
solid. Yeah, for as your wide receiver three, that's a pretty nasty combo there. So
Yeah.
it's a good draft. All right, now to Joe.
D.
Uh, yeah, Cup. I mean,
Kidding.
obviously, not a lot to say about Cup. He was great. He's probably going to be
Right.
great again this year. Swift. I don't know if he was watching Hard Knocks or not. I mean, people are real high on Swift. In a normal one quarterback draft, I would see him go at the end of the first, beginning of the second most of the time. So getting him in the third, I don't think is bad. I mean, he did trade picks, so he didn't get that second round. But to get Swift and Kamara,
Kamara scares me though, man.
he might get
I
suspended.
I think he's. Uh,
I
I
think
mean,
Swift will be good. I think if Kamara plays, he's going to be great. I think he's going to be just like Kamara always was. But
absolutely.
but if that suspension comes through this year, and it's now because they didn't do it at the beginning or anything. Now you could potentially be looking at a situation where Kamara gets you to the playoffs and then he's out of the playoffs, and that's what makes me nervous about Kamara. Now
Yeah, definitely.
that being said, he does have a lot of other guys here. James Conner, I think he'll be fine. J.K. Dobbins, so he's the flip side of Kamara. Maybe you're looking at a situation where Kamara is getting suspended, but Dobbins is finally getting back into form off of his injury from last year,
Right.
right? Because he's probably going to start off slow, but I think by the end of the season, Dobbins will be fine. And then you also throw in Melvin Gordon, Naeem Hines, so he has depth. It's just really that potential suspension. I mean, I'm hearing news. I don't know if you've heard anything different that it's not probable to happen this year. Doesn't mean it can't. I don't know if you've heard anything
Yeah, I
past
think
that.
they're just gonna do the legal stuff, and then after the legal mumbo jumbo is figured out, then the NFL is gonna be like, all right, well now it's our turn to research and
Yeah,
do our
that's
investigation.
fucked because it's all on camera and they won't release the tapes, right? I guess it's a bad look for the
Unless it's Ray
NFL.
Rice.
Yeah, bad look for the NFL, bad look for Vegas. So they're gonna bury that.
Yeah.
Tight end Goddard in the ninth, I think it's fine.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it. Um, Other wide
I'm
receivers, Hollywood Brown. I think at
good.
least while Hopkins is out, he'll have a big role, and I mean potentially he makes that more of a permanent role depending on how he does with it.
Yeah,
I mean
I'm a
he wanted to be traded to a team where he was going to be more part of the passing passing scheme rather than a run first team with the Ravens.
mhm. I think he'll be big with the offense that they're trying to do here in AZ, and
Yeah,
I'm I really wanted Renfro. I'm huge on him. I think he's going to be
yeah,
massive
yeah,
with Las Vegas, and I like that little stack with
yeah.
Carr.
The Carr Renfro stack, I think that's solid. Renfro, the only concern with Devontae Adams in town, but I think a rising tide raises all ships, right? So yeah,
Hmm.
people certainly Devontae's the focus, but I think that opens up. I think that actually opens up opportunities for Renfro to be have a more sustainable role in this offense. Whereas last year it was his role really came from just losing people, right? So
Right. But
I
he
think
shined though, which was
he
huge. So I
did.
think they'll lean
He's
more on him.
a little more sustainable that way. Ayuk, I feel like we say this every year, just waiting for him to blow up.
Yeah,
Devontae
last year
Parker,
he was dropped so much that the
yeah.
people just stopped picking him.
So he's whatever. Devontae Parker, it's New England. I mean, they never really have a
Maybe.
superstar guy, right? But could you flex him in a pinch? Sure. Where my big thing I don't like about Joe's teams obviously is quarterback situation with Derek Carr and then Zach Wilson as his QB2, who not ruled out for week one, but
He's
not
not going to play
confirmed
week
either.
one.
I don't think he plays week one.
No, he's their quarterback of the future. He'll probably play like
Yeah,
week 3 or something.
right. So I mean, it is what it is. We between you and me, we fucked him over during the draft
Oh
a little bit.
yeah.
But that being said, I did drop Mills, so he could get Mills. He was mad about the Daniel Jones pickup. I think he wanted Daniel Jones out in that range. I remember picking him up and getting a response from him. So, I mean, there's guys out there to play Joe. Pick one up, but you ain't getting Danny Dimes from me unless you're paying for him.
Yeah, you have to pay premium, baby.
Premium. Um, but overall, I like the draft. I think his running back room is real solid. I like the wide receivers. I lean towards another B on this. Maybe B minus just because of the quarterbacks.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the biggest thing for me would be the quarterback situation, and he even mentioned it too, getting
Yeah.
down the line.
Oh yeah.
But I'd agree with you again. I mean, it's hard to argue otherwise. Cup's cup, and yeah,
Yeah. All right. Obviously, best team in the league, A plus. We can move past this one.
I'm leaning A minus.
uh, so I guess my honest criticisms, I'm like, I've never picked up Tom Brady, and I'm picking him up at what 45 years old. Um, her defensive line makes me a little nervous, but in theory, that Hurts Brady's tandem should be solid. And with Daniel Jones, if he makes the leap at all as my QB3, doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah,
Mills
I
I
wouldn't worry
had,
about
but I
your
dropped him.
QBs, man. I Hurts again. We joke about garbage time Hurts.
Well, it might
How
not even
many
be
games
garbage time
he
this year. It might even be garbage time
right
this year because the team's better. It could just be
right
legitimate winning games and winning fantasy weeks, right?
exactly. So he's good. He's gonna get his points. I don't think Brady takes any significant drop in performance either. And if he does, like you said, you got Jones.
Brady
I,
figures it out, man. I think Brady will figure it out
yeah,
regardless. He wouldn't play. He wouldn't have stayed and unretired and all that if he didn't think he could win games. So
right.
I'm not too worried there. Running backs, Eckler and Etienne. I mean, obviously, I had to go with Eckler again at the 1-9. He was my hero last season, and from everything I'm hearing, it sounds like he should have a similar role this year. So no reason to not go with him.
Agreed.
ETN makes me a little nervous, but that was a beer pick for sure. You know,
What was his? His was ACL, right?
Liz Frank, I believe.
Liz Frank. Oh man, Liz Franks are tough. What's
Yeah,
interesting is there's been a lot more of those kind of injuries popping up in the NBA and whatnot, but that's a tough injury to come back from. I mean, they're all
I mean,
tough. Let's be
yeah,
real, but
for
Liz
sure.
Frank is.
Well,
Whew,
it's not an Achilles, so I don't know. It was a homer pick for sure. Dead zone running back, and I went running back, quarterback, and I wanted to get one of these earlier guys at least as my two. Um, so I don't know. He's a big question mark on my team, but I mean, I'm excited to watch him play as a Jags fan. Other running backs: Ramondre Stevenson, and Darnell Henderson. Um, I really like Ramondre. It's been really positive reports out of camp. I think he'll be solid as a RB3, potentially with RB2 upside. Henderson, for the same reason I had some confidence in ETN is because the Achilles of the other guy, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if Akers comes out and he's getting the 1.5 yards per attempt like he was when he came back last year, I think Henderson could carve himself out a nice big role or big chunk of that offense. So he's kind of a speculative ad, but either way, I think it's going to be more of an RVBC than it has previously on the Rams. So he should have some value. Uh, let's see, Kyle Pitts.
Like
He
Pitts,
he
but
fell me in the fifth, and I'm just I bid on the hype on that one. My big concern with the Pitts pick is because then later in round 8 here with one of my traded picks, I went with Drake London. So
yeah,
I have essentially the wide receiver 1 and 2 on that team. But it's not a team I necessarily feel good about running both at the same time. And at the same time, I did the same thing with Eckler and Williams. That one doesn't worry me so much. I mean, even looking at last year's numbers, there's both games where they're
not
both
at all,
blowing up.
dude.
That doesn't bother
You've
me at
got
all.
Herbert.
Yeah,
You say Prescott shares Herbert. He like whatever they're doing there in San Diego. I'm not gonna call them. What are they now? The Los Angeles Chargers or
yeah,
something?
yeah. LA
They're still
Chargers.
San Diego Chargers. Whatever they're doing there, man, it's working.
Yeah,
Because
but that's what I mean. Eckler and Williams, like Williams as my wide receiver 1, and I got him in the 6. I think Mike Williams is gonna be just fine. I could see. I mean, he was finished 12 in PPR last year. I could see him finishing top 10 this year. 129 targets. I mean, you could say Keenan Allen, but Keenan Allen's only getting older.
yeah, I mean, you just look at the when they got Herbert,
Yeah,
his numbers just
Herbert's
started
just he's
climbing.
right. So the Eckler Williams thing doesn't bother me. It hits in Drake London a little bit, but who knows? I mean, they're still going to throw it right. Um, I don't have a whole lot of confidence in the running game there between Algier, Guy, or whatever you want to say it, and Cordero. Um,
Yeah,
but Pitts, I think, will be fine. I think Drake London. I mean, he's sort of speculative. It was a little early for a rookie guy, but there's a lot of hype around him. Mooney, I've been picking up like everywhere in all my drafts. Um, Wide receiver 1 for the Bears. I know Bears isn't a sexy offense. I've been hearing good things about Justin Fields though.
yeah, I think Fields is gonna have a much better year. And then, like you were saying, I like Mooney as well. I
I'm always a guy. I like to. I try and get running backs and my quarterbacks out of the way this year, and then punt a little bit on wide receiver and just look for those high upside guys. But then
mhm.
again, I did the same thing where I got 2 guys from the same team with Christian Kirk and ETN. Um, I don't know. Can they both exist? A lot of that's going to depend on what Trevor does this year, I think. Russell Gage, if I could get that stack going with Brady, great. But I think he just finally returned to practice. And then my last quarterback, or Daniel Jones, I drafted Mills, but dropped him already to get a defense because I didn't draft one.
Did what's his name? Scotty Miller. He was that wide receiver, that fast
Superstar
dude.
Scotty Miller.
Yeah, did he resign or was he cut by the Bucks?
I think he got cut. I think he got cut. I would have to look though. I'm not sure. Let's see here.
He
Can you look it up? My actual sleeper things just spinning.
says he's active. He's wide
Maybe not.
receiver
Maybe it was
still.
somebody else. Maybe it was somebody else that got cut. I know they cut some wide receiver. But I don't know. I'm pretty happy with my team. If I could do it over again, I wouldn't have got so many duos from different teams. But um, I don't know. I'll let you grade mine. I don't want to be biased because obviously I would say A plus.
Mm, just looking, I think there's a lot. You get your what ifs with Gage. I think Jones can pan out. I'm really again Christian Kirk. I want him to do well because he got his bag
Right.
and he was playing in AZ and did really well here last year, especially when Hopkins went down.
Yep.
Yeah, sure, you've got some overlapping, with London and with Pitts. How's Mariota going to actually do? He's their quarterback, right?
Yep. He
I don't
loves
know.
dumping off the tight end.
I'd say B.
B. I'll take B.
B plus too. Honestly, I mean Eckler. again, Eckler, he's going to get his touches. Hurts is going to be super either garbage time or super good.
Yeah,
Either way, he's getting his points.
yeah. Hurts is gonna get his points for
Brady
sure.
is Brady. Unless he gets his ACL shredded again, he's going to have a superstar year. I mean, look at his stuff from last year,
He
right?
drinks enough water, he'll be fine. It's a secret
Yeah.
weapon.
No, I would say easy B plus on this one. Honestly, I like Mike Williams too.
Love it.
Again, Mooney, I think he's going to have a good year with Fields because
Yeah, Fields is getting better.
Fields had a rough year last year,
That team should get
and
better, and Mooney
yeah,
should
especially with
benefit.
Nagy being gone.
Yeah,
Like I think,
yeah.
oh,
People forget about what he does to a team. I think.
yeah. So I'd say B plus, man.
Cool. I'll roll with it. Kyle, Joe Burrow. I don't really like the Kelsey pickup in the second. To be honest, I mean, I know
I was
Mahomes got
gonna
to
ask
throw.
about that.
I know Mahomes
So
got to
he's
throw it to
getting
somebody.
older.
He's
Yeah.
32. I think he's going to be 33 during this season, if I'm not mistaken.
Like how long can you perform
Right.
with how much abuse he takes?
Yeah. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Somebody
I mean,
somebody was going
someone
to
was
do
gonna
it.
take
Yeah.
him.
Somebody
Yeah.
was going to take him in round two, or if not round one. And so Kyle can have him. I like Javante Williams. I
I do
think
too.
he
I
has a
think Gordon's
potential
kind
to
of
he has a potential to fade Gordon out, right? And then just be the guy.
exactly.
So I think that's pretty high. Brees Hall, man,
I think that was a
if you
reach.
didn't have Kareem back here, I would feel really bad about that. But I mean, I think a lot of people probably rank him about the same as ETN. To be fair, there's a lot of hype around him.
I guess I'm just scared of Jets players
Yeah,
because I feel like when's
Kyle is a Jets fan.
the last good Jets player was what Fitzpatrick
Yeah,
or Darrell
Kyle is a
Revis.
Jets fan, so it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise in the same for the same reason I took ETN in that round, right?
Okay, well that makes a little more sense then.
With Javante, then I love Cortland Sutton.
I do
Uh,
too.
I think Allen Robinson's going to have a great year as well.
Yeah. Well, he was on the Bears, I think, last year,
He was
right?
on the Bears and he was dealing
He
with an
kind of struggled.
injury.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so
I think he'll have a good comeback here.
yeah, with OBJ out of Los Angeles as well. I think he'll be a focal point. Kareem Hunt, I think he's fine. I think he's fine as an
Yeah,
RB3. He is upside of RB2. Jameis Winston, I think, is kind of a sleeper quarterback pick.
he's slanging it, dude. Like when he didn't get
Right.
hurt or before he got hurt, he was slanging it both with the Bucks and with New Orleans. So yeah, I think that has a lot of potential to be super good.
Yeah. I like it as a quarterback too. He did what I did with a couple teams because you got Javante and Cortland from Denver,
Sudden.
and then he's
Mm-hmm.
got Brees and Elijah Moore from the Jets. I do like Elijah Moore in a vacuum. I just don't know if I want that much Jets.
No, I mean, again, your QB got hurt too, which he was
Yeah.
hurt before this draft, I think.
Yes.
He may
Yes.
okay, so if he
And
was, it's
it was less clear on what was going on because now they're saying he's not ruled out for week one. But to your point, I don't think he's playing week one. So you're gonna have Flacco for however many games. Um, and then that transition back to Zach Wilson. But I mean, Elijah Moore should still get his. I think he's fine in the ninth. Lazard, I like as a speculative pickup. You know, he's a veteran on that team, so I think he's a candidate to be the wide receiver one. Didn't Rogers come out and say he was the wide receiver one in an interview or something? I feel like that happened.
uh I'm not sure.
I think he did. I think he came out and said that he was the wide receiver one.
I
But
mean, I
I mean, I don't
Google
like.
him and it
I
says Packers not sure Alan Lazard will play this
Yeah,
week.
that's what it says. That was just happened, undisclosed injury. But
Huh.
assuming he's healthy, he has the potential to be number one. We're getting
Yeah.
thrown to by Aaron Rodgers. So
8 TDs last year, 513 yards, 40
yeah,
receptions.
we had Devonte Adams last year too, right? So he just wasn't going to
Hmm.
be the focal point, but he
But
has
that
the
was up
potential.
from 2020 of 3 TDs, 451 yards and 33 receptions. So it seems like his trajectory is just going up, especially with Adams gone.
Sure.
Like you're saying. I mean, granted, we just Google it and see that hey, he might not play. It's like, oh, well, who knows now? And speculation's just kind of going wild.
Right.
But I like Lazard.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
picked him in I think like two other leagues I'm in, and he was someone I was eyeballing. And when I saw him pick him, I was just like, man, oh well, waited too long.
Albert Akumba
Oh my
Wambunan.
goodness.
I don't know how to say it. I I would have picked literally anybody else here. You already had two Broncos, and so now you also have their tight end when you had already drafted Kelsey. Just play the waiver for that guy. Take a different dart throw here, I think. But I mean, maybe you consider him a dart throw. Michael Carter. So he's got his bases covered, I guess, on the on the Jets running backs.
I get
Oh,
being a homer, and then there's Kyle.
yeah.
Like, I
Well,
can
I guess
respect it.
it's just if you don't have full confidence that he's going to be the starter, and you reach for or you take the Breeze Hall in the fourth just to then use a 12th to pick up Michael Carter because
Gets
you're
his
not
own
sure.
handcuff.
I don't know. That's the equivalent if I went ETN and then down here I took because I could have instead of like Daniel Jones went with James Robinson, but I'm confident that ETN's going to be the guy there. So I don't know. It's funny. Jamison Williams, rookie. I haven't heard too much about him. He's on the Lions. Uh, I don't know.
I will say you don't like defenses, but Colts D is, I would say, championship
Well,
caliber.
it's a good division to be in.
A good division, and their D has been
Yeah,
good. That's why they were so mad when what's his nuts retired, Luck, because their defense was literally top notch, man. So
yeah.
I'm
No,
sure
I
they've
know
kind of
it's a good
fallen a bit,
defense.
but
I just don't look into it too much only because I stream them most of the time. Because even if you have a good defense, if you're up against a really good offense, like the likelihood of you wanting to play that defense just every week just because they're that defense is pretty low.
right.
Like if you're talking real NFL, yeah, but for fantasy purposes, defense is whatever. Like it's one of those things, and don't tell this to people because they could get all excited if they listen this far. But they would be next on the chopping block of positions to get rid of. Would be defense. But
I like defenses. I
I
think it
like
can
it.
just,
I like it because if nothing else, it churns the waiver wire a little bit.
yeah, and it keeps, you get to play it a little bit more. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a fan of. I guess I'm just a sucker for defense because I got in when Jacksonville was the defense and
Right.
when
Right.
New
Well,
England was
yeah.
scoring 25 a
Yeah,
game.
and I'm with you. And it feels really good when you happen to pick that. Like, but there's usually, if at all, if there's a defense like that, there's usually only one, right? But
Yeah,
I don't know. It's interesting. I do like the Colts defense. But man, Kyle with the early Kelsey pick and all these Denver guys and all these Jets and just so much overlap. I want to go see
I was gonna say C or C minus because C minus for the simple fact that
the three
you got
Broncos.
two
You know
Broncos,
what?
or sorry, three
I'm giving
Broncos.
them the minus for picking up both Jets running backs.
There you go. I think that's fair.
So Robin here, he's new to the league as well. But we worked with him at AB, and now he's a Purina guy as well up in Ohio. But he went real wide receiver heavy earlier. Jamar Chase and Tyreek Hill, but also got Derrick Henry, which he's another one of those guys, man. If he stays healthy, I mean,
He's coming
he
off
was
that
dominating.
injury.
He was a Liz Frank as well, wasn't he?
I,
It was some kind. I
I
know
don't
it was
know.
a
He
foot
came
injury.
back. Yeah, he
He
came
came
back
back,
really quick though.
but they lost that game and he was out. But yeah, I know it was a foot injury. Might be Liz Frank. I'm not sure. But another guy, it's just he's just run so much and so hard that I feel like every year now for the last couple of years it's been was this the year that he finally his body just starts giving out because he's 28. That's getting a
Yeah,
little
he's been in
old
the
for a
league for
running back.
6 years. Oh, definitely. Running backs, their lifespan is pretty
Yeah,
dang short, and he's
but
a big dude,
he's
man.
a big dude,
247.
runs super hard. Yeah. But if he can stay healthy, I could see him being I think he has pathway to be number one running back overall. That's within the realm of possibilities to me. because I think he was on pace to do it last year. I mean, even outscoring Jonathan Taylor, but then he got injured.
Yep. And he only gets better in the cold.
Yeah,
It's a
the
Yeti.
Yeti, the Yeti. But I like those. I like those first three picks a lot. Aaron Rodgers is your quarterback. I mean, there's a little worry, not a lot of whole guys to throw to at the moment, but who knows? Rodgers is just the guy, man. He'll figure it out. Immunized.
Tua.
Tua.
Yeah, Rodgers will be fine. Tua.
Tua. I mean, he's got Hill.
Yeah, I
Maybe
mean
he
it's
figures it out. But I mean, they last year they were talking about trading him away. I
that
don't
was
know.
the weirdest thing
It
last
was
year
weird.
about how often they talked about that.
Yeah,
And it's like, oh, the Dolphins wanted to trade him for Brady, or they even mid-year they were wanting to trade him away. And I think I'm salty on Tua just because of how they did Fitzpatrick, but
sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is
I
going to
mean,
be his
he
year
was
to
supposed to
show.
be their guy of the future, so I get it. I get it. But yeah, I was mad too. That because the Dolphins were having a good season with Fitzpatrick, and then. But I'm with you. I don't know. Tua will be interesting. I think with Rodgers as your one, you can afford a little bit of risk on Tua.
Yeah,
Elijah Mitchell as your running back too. Another guy, just stay healthy. I think it's still his backfield. Although San Francisco obviously loves to run running back by committee. Um, but I like it.
especially with
I like it.
Debo.
He's sort of doing a hero RB thing. I think. Um, Hayden Hurst, whatever.
Yeah,
That's his home.
he's
He's a Bengals fan. He's a Bengals fan.
okay.
So Jamar Chase at 101 or his first round pick 111 makes sense. The only my only thing I don't like about Hurst is that it's also a Bengal, but it's a great offense. So
Yeah, I
who
mean
knows how it'll
Burrow's
work
shown
out.
that he can sling it, so
I just
I
wouldn't.
don't
I
know
don't
that
know if
team
he
too
had to
well.
take him that early. But then
Probably not.
wide receiver 3 with Godwin. I mean, you might not be play right away, but to have that as your third guy, that's great.
Yeah, he was chosen a little before Hopkins too.
Yeah.
I mean, that would
Um,
that makes sense because he will play a little sooner, but
Kenneth Walker, I think, is a little speculative in that if Penny gets hurt, I think he has a big shot there. So, and Penny likes to get hurt. Um, we'll see. Singletary
another
is
Bills
whatever.
player.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, finished 20. He's fine. He's fine in a pinch or on a bye week or something. But I'm not super excited about him.
another
Uh,
Jets player,
yeah, Garrett Wilson, rookie.
rookie.
Tyler Boyd. I mean,
They got
they're
so many people to throw to, man.
yeah. I'm just that's his third Bengal too. And then
Yeah,
you take the Bengals defense.
defense. Again, I
Jarvis
can
Landry.
respect it, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because you see some of these pictures like, why would you do that? And it's like, oh yeah, that he's a fan of that team. Jarvis Landry, I think, has a path to becoming something this year as well. They just traded for him this year. Yeah, yeah, he was on the Browns for a couple years prior.
I feel like Landry's just been kind of middle of the road.
Yeah, yeah, he has wide receiver four territory.
Yeah, he's never elite, but he was never really
He had a couple years early on.
bad.
The highest finish he's had was 6, and that was in his last year with Miami. That was way back in 2017. So I mean, put it this way: the Saints wanted him, right? They traded for him. I think it's not a bad pickup. I like this team though. I mean, that's those wide receivers. I mean, he does have the stack with Tua actually with Hill. I didn't even think about that. Rogers, Chase. I lean B on this only because I don't like some of this depth here.
Yeah, there's. I don't know. Again, I'm skeptical on Jets players. Mitchell, can he stay healthy? I like Rogers. Tua's big what if, but again, Hill's gonna get his looks. Henry, what did you say? A B?
Yeah, I was thinking B. Or do you like it more than that? I mean, I
No,
could.
I don't think I like it more.
I mean, the first couple picks are really
I'd say
awesome.
B minus if
I
I'm just not. I
wait
get the
what
homerism and stuff. That's fine and dandy, especially late rounds. You know, Boyd, he could be something.
I'll defer to the visiting team here. B minus.
Hurst, again, yeah, B minus.
And last but not least, we have Tyler. Not a lot to say here. He has one good player. His name's Justin Jefferson, but otherwise the team sucks. I'm giving a solid F. What do you think?
F minus, dude.
F minus. All
So
right.
as low as we can go.
So we're hitting just about an hour and a half here, guys. So we'll wrap it up with that. Here you can see all of our grades. No official A's or anything other than obviously my team's the best. Um, but yeah, guys, thanks for watching. If you watched this whole time, more content to come later through the season. We'll have to get better with time management. But if you want to hear about Mort's team, you can listen for the first 20-25 minutes of the show again and hear all about it. So Mort, thanks for calling in with me today. I think this was fun. I think absolutely have you on again later this season and talk through some other
Absolutely.
stuff.
Thanks for having me. This is great, and yeah, we'll definitely talk off stream about time management and whatnot. But yeah, thanks again.
All right. Take care.
See
Good
you,
luck,
buddy.
everybody.